how to use the equalizers in DJ Pro to create smooth mixes. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and I'm gonna show you how. This is one of the topics that I wish I learned earlier, because I thought my mixes were fine without adjusting the bass and the highs, because I was practicing with just the speakers on the iPad or with like earbuds like this, and then it doesn't really, you can't really tell that if two bass lines are playing at the same time. But then when I went and did my first gig and it was hooked up to big speakers, you could definitely tell that I still needed to learn some new things. So in this video, whether you're a beginner or an advanced DJ, I'm going to show you how to use the levels, where to find them in the app, and what scenarios to adjust which level. So stay tuned to the end of this video to be a pro with the equalizer. So when I first looked at professional DJ equipment and DJ controllers, I got kind of overwhelmed because I didn't know what all the knobs did. Because on the controller, you'll see these knobs. So I'm going to show you what these do and when to use them. So if you're just using the iPad, which this video is going to teach you how to do it on the iPad, and then if you do it on the controller, it's the same thing, except it's just a lot easier to turn the knobs with your fingers and you have more control. But it's perfectly doable with just the iPad, and you have access to all the control that you need. So when you open the app, it'll take you to classic mode, and there's a couple of ways to find the equalizer in this mode. The first way is if you go down here to the bottom right or the bottom left, whichever deck you want to use, and it'll bring you to access to the equalizer, the looper, the sampler, and Nero Mix. But right now we're going to be talking about the equalizer. So it starts off on the right is the highs. Now these are like the hi-hats and maybe some claps and stuff that's on the higher end of the frequency scale. And then the low is the bass, the boom, 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 the heartbeat of the song. So a good rule to remember is you don't want two songs playing with full bass. This might sound good with earbuds, or it might sound good if you're just using like regular, not so good computer speakers. But if you put it into something with a subwoofer or any type of quality speakers with a lot of power, you are going to hear way too much bass. So if you're playing two songs at the same time, always have one song with the bass on and one song with the bass off. The only exception is if one of the songs it's playing like a part that doesn't have any bass, like an intro or like a break in the song, then you don't have to worry about it. But just make sure there's not two songs playing at full bass. And an easy way to tell is if you look up top at the waveforms, or if you open the waveforms here, the thinner like yellow and green frequencies that it shows on the waveforms are the highs, and then where it gets thicker and kind of like the bluish and reddish color, it is bass. So that's a good way to know. And then the mids is everything in between. Some of the vocals are in there along with the highs. So if you are trying to not play two vocals at the same time, which is another rule, because our brains can only process like one beat and then one set of words at a time. And if you have two songs playing vocals, it'll sound really messy and give people headaches. So if you hear vocals coming and you didn't know and you don't want the vocals and you want to get rid of them quickly, what you could do is just lower the mids. All right. Now another thing that's not technically part of the EQs, but all new DJ software and equipment is including it with the EQs, is the filter. It's the high pass and the low pass filter. So here on classic mode, you have filter is to the right of the lows, mids, and highs. You can control high pass and low pass. What this does is when you put it all the way to the top, high pass, it gets rid of all the bass and all the low frequencies and only plays the high frequencies. So this is a good way to mix in and out of a song, and it also adds a bit of a sweeping effect. And now if you do the low pass filter, it's going to take out all the highs and only keep the bass. So I'm going to play this song in the middle of a drop, and then I'm going to show you what it sounds like with the lows off, with the mids off, with the highs off, and then what both sides of the high pass filter sound like. See, no bass in that one. So it adds a little bit of a sweeping effect. And now I'll show you guys a quick transition to use with this filter. To do this transition, you're going to want to find a part in the song that looks kind of like this, like a funnel that gets smaller. This represents the sweeping sound. So when this song gets to this point, we're going to find another song that does the same sweeping thing, like over here. That represents a sweeping sound. And then this type of waveform represents like a bouncy beat. So when the song on the left deck is going to make the whoosh sound, like going into a breakdown, we are going to use the filter. We're going to filter it all the way down, and then we're going to press play on the next song. It's the easiest, simple transition, and it sounds great. It's really good to get you out of a jam. All right. And now you're smoothly into the next song. So that's a great transition with using the filter. All right, so now I'm going to show you another trick using the EQs to make your mix look bigger. And this is to add a little bit of drama and pizzazz right before the drop. So this song has a drop where it gets quieter and then it hits you with the drop. So what we're going to do is right before the drop, we're going to take out all the lows. So it's only going to play the high frequencies, and then right before the drop hits, we're going to slam it with, we're going to put the lows back at the perfect time, and it's going to make that drop hit much harder. This is what festival DJs do at like EDC and those big festivals like that gets everybody raging. So I'm going to show you what the drop sounds like without doing anything, and then I'm going to show you what it sounds like if we EQ the drop. So this is just playing the drop as it is. I'm just going to speed it up a little bit so it's faster. So that's what the drop sounds like, normal. And we are going to remove the lows, then add them back. And you see how it hits that much harder. And you can also do this trick. You could also do this trick with the filters. So just turn the filter all the way up and then put it back at the right time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it got you to be more comfortable with the EQs. This is just a basic rundown of it. I'm going to make a part 2 and part 3 to this video that will go much more into detail. So if you like DJing with the iPad and you're passionate about using DJ Pro's amazing app, then subscribe to the channel because I make new videos a couple times a week and I will answer all the questions in the comments. Thank you.